thank you very much, Sarah. That's great to see some of the work that's being done in some of our smaller unions, which is vital. And sometimes we get the work done in smaller unions that we can't possibly get done in bigger unions because of the internal procedures that we have to go through. So it's important to work together. That working together, that solidarity, work together is absolutely crucial. Not least because the Max strikers, that happened last year. We had a Max striker speaking at this conference. He did turn up late as a young person. By the way, you're an inspiration to us really on time. But that campaign took place because, Sarah said at one of the other meetings, not just because of the work that the Bakers Union done, but by the solidarity action of the other unions and members and activists as well that help those workers. And they're going on to do wonderful things within their union and within the movement. And that's absolutely essential for the future of our trade union movement. And leads me nicely on to our last, you can seamlessly into that, onto our last speaker. And it's wonderful to have Claire speaking to us. And Claire's a Unite member, been a striker in TGI Friday, is a striker leader, is a leader of members, and not just young members, but an absolutely inspiration to us all, I hope, in the work that she's doing. And she's very nervous. But she's absolutely, we're a family of trade unionists and support everything you do, so we can't wait to hear what you have to say. Thank you.
So my name is Trevor. I'm a workers' rights activist and an equality rep for Unite the Union. I'd like to talk a little bit today about how to encourage young workers to unionise. I was recently a young person myself, so I feel I've got some grounds to work on here. The main point I'd like to raise is you have to educate. It's so important. A lot of young people, and myself included until recently, have no idea what a union can do for them. You can't just assume that they know they exist. Often people have got absolutely no clue that their rights are protected. And if people do know what unions do, they're often afraid of being associated with trouble. In actual fact, union discrimination is a very important tool that people can use. One thing that I found useful for trying to unionise young people is identify the leaders. It sounds like an obvious point, but the people who can be a circle of influence are really important to you, because if you can't spread the message, find someone else who can do it better. It's really important to find out who can influence the team, because those people, if you can get them on your side, they'll do all the work for you and they'll create the ripple effect which we need. There's obviously strength in numbers, so the more people who unionise, the stronger it gets, the more interest it gets, and it creates a snowball effect. It's more likely to appeal to people if they can see that everyone's getting involved. It removes the stigma that a union is bad and it's akin to joining a cult. If people see that their colleagues are joining, they'll take an interest. Often it's really useful to look for people in trouble and try and make them aware of their rights. If you're helping someone in trouble, they'll remember that you've helped them and they'll often come back to you for help, and then other people will see that you've helped them, so that can be extremely useful. I apologise if this seems like common knowledge. To appeal to young people, you need to shout in a way that you'll be heard. A lot of young people won't listen to old methods, so leaflets are great, but they are outdated. If you go into a workplace and start leafleting while young people are at work, they'll be scared of being associated with you and they'll often ignore it. It'll also put them at risk in the fact that they don't want the bosses to see that they're interested, and often it can impact the work that they're actually doing. So as great as it is that leafleting has been used, it can be detrimental to the cause. The best way to get to people is to use social media, I believe. That's the way that the world is moving, and if that's going to work, that's what we're going to have to work with. A lot of people will be put off being identified as union friendly. The best way to get around them is to let them know that they can remain anonymous. They don't have to be wearing the sort of clothes I wear all the time. They can be secretly in a union. So the other point I was going to say as well is that you don't want to do anything that gives the bosses more ammo. Anything that could suggest that a union is causing trouble is going to put people off. So again, work covertly if need be. A really important thing that I've learned recently is part of the point, you've got to strike while the iron is hot. Find out what's making people angry and utilise the anger. Anger is so, so important, and if you can utilise it, it's great. You've got to give people a platform for their anger. A lot of young workers will do what I call a water cooler mentality, where they're quite happy to stand around and complain about the day's work and then go home, go to sleep and repeat. If you get them while they're angry, that's when you might be able to get some feedback. That's not the word I was looking for. Some results. Also, it's important to try and identify key problems in specific workplaces. So, obviously, Janet's working on something at the moment that really relates to this. I obviously wrote this before I found this out. Find out what is annoying people in specific workplaces. So, for example, if you have a way of gathering data to find out that 10 workers at Primark are being forced to work with dusty clothes and it's giving them breathing problems, and say 20 workers from McDonald's have been sent home early and have lost out on hours and can't pay their rent, so 15 breaks workers have got burns from wearing adequate oven gloves, anything like that, you can start gathering data and targeting specific brands with what will make their employees listen. It's important to show young people what trade unions have achieved. So I know that from the work I've done personally, people do take an interest, and it seems to give them a bit of hope when they realise that I am just a waitress. I don't have any training in anything. I was just angry enough to stand up and do something about it. And I know that has inspired people, which is a really great feeling, but we need to inspire more people. Yes, but showing what speaking up can achieve is so, so important. Showing people magazines, speeches, things that young people are doing, it has a massive impact. And also to show it's safe. I'm still in employment, I have not yet been fired, fingers crossed, because I'm careful. Inviting young members to things like meetings and protests can be a great way of doing it. I know that recently there's been a lot of marches in London. I was steward some of them. And I've been really impressed with how many school children were there and they were standing up for their rights. People seem to be taking action, they seem to be getting more politically aware, and it's important not to patronise young people or assume they don't know anything to do with politics, because they seem to want to learn. You've got to educate them. Somebody mentioned yesterday the stigma associated with the term snowflake. I think people are using it in a detrimental union busting way. People saying that you're complaining about, people are saying about it is a union busting tactic. Saying that complaining is bad when actually people are standing up for their rights, it's dreadful. So I say own the term snowflake, and as somebody did mention yesterday, cause an avalanche. It's important. Another point to remember is that if you do go in too strong, it can intimidate people. You have to sometimes tread very carefully. If you don't want people to think that you're dangerous or troublemakers, you have to be soft with them. People can get scared by the politics behind it. So just show them that you're a safety net and not an angry mob. Somebody once said to me that a union is for life, not just for disciplinaries, and I think that's a great saying. Just remind people that it's good to have that there. A lot of the backlash that I've had is people saying, well, I don't care about my job, I don't care if I lose it, I don't get into trouble. Just remind them that at some point you might get into trouble, and yes, you don't care about this job, but you might care about your next job. It's important to have that backing from day one, so it's there when you need it. And also, unions can help pay for tribunals, which is extremely useful. I do know that we've got a fight in our hands, but I do believe it's a fight we can win. And I'd like to thank every single person who's listened to me and come up and given me feedback from yesterday, because that feedback is also a really important tool. It's so nice to realise how much support we've got. And I wouldn't be stood up here doing this today if I didn't think people were listening to me, and I can see that they are. So it's really important that you're supporting the young people, because it does make a difference. So each and every one of you, thank you.
And that's a really important message, is it? It's a fight on our hands, but a fight we can